Welcome back to the TrueGrid tutorial series. In this lesson, we will learn the basics of screen navigation. We strongly suggest that you follow along with an active session of TrueGrid running in another window. From time to time, you may want to pause this lesson and replicate what we have just done in your live session of TrueGrid. If you don't already have TrueGrid, please visit our website and request a 30-day free trial. In this lesson, we are using the simple block cube that we built in the building blocks lesson. If you haven't watched that lesson yet, stop now and watch it first and build your single block cube in your active session of TrueGrid. A total of 4 windows appears in the control phase. We call these windows the text window, physical window, computational window, and environment window. Do not close any of these windows during your TrueGrid session, as doing so will end the session and close TrueGrid. It's fine to move them around and resize all but the environment window to your liking. This is the text box that controls TrueGrid. We will explore each of its functions and submenus as we introduce them in our other tutorials. Notice at the top there is a text box. Think of this as a display of the record, log, or history of the commands you have used to create your mesh. Each of the commands are being saved in a tsave file on your local drive. In short, TrueGrid is recording each step you take to build your mesh. When you end your session of TrueGrid, your session tsave file will be saved on your local drive. If you wish to preserve your session file, immediately rename your tsave file. If you don't rename your tsave file, it will be overwritten the next time you start a new session of TrueGrid. You actually have 3 chances to save your tsave file by renaming it, but we will address this in another lesson. One important and unique feature of TrueGrid is that the tsave file only contains the commands necessary to reproduce your mesh. TrueGrid doesn't save the navigational and display keystrokes and mouse clicks from the session, cluttering up the file. With TrueGrid's tsave file being so clean, it's easy to find and modify a command or a parameter. Select the arrow and expand this text box, and the menu will temporarily disappear to give you more viewing space. You can also drag and drop the window to enlarge it. To have your menu reappear, simply place your cursor on the text box and hit the Enter key. The physical window is the largest window that appears in the lower left-hand corner. The main function of the physical window is to display the geometry, the mesh, and the properties of the model. Note that as I rotate the model, only the wire frame is visible. Once I stop rotating, the element mesh reappears. The computational window appears in the upper right-hand corner. It is used to select the components of the mesh using the mouse and the index bars. Notice that the computational window does not display the element mesh. You can only see the element mesh in the physical window. In addition, you will notice that the computational wire mesh does not change dimensions as you project, morph, and model in the physical window. This allows you the ability to select components of the mesh, for example, nodes, lines, faces, or blocks, easily, even if they are very small, distorted, or tucked away in a hard-to-access spot in the physical window. The beauty of having the physical and computational windows displayed simultaneously may be initially lost on a new user of TrueGrid. It rapidly becomes of great value as the user begins to build more complicated meshes. TrueGrid is unique and gives you the best of both worlds. You can see the fine detail of the complex mesh in the physical window, but you can rapidly select and manipulate the block components using the computational window. This greatly improves the productivity of the user as they build complex meshes. Notice the three index bars along the sides of the computational window, one for each of the axes. These index bars allow you to select components of your mesh using your mouse. We will explore the use of these index bars in the projection method basic lesson. The environment window sets the functions of the mouse buttons that control the behaviors of the physical and the computational windows. The top row of the environment window begins with the draw option. It's easier to understand the significance of this option as you become a more advanced user, but for now, know that some options require that you select the draw option to redraw the mesh with the option that you have just selected. The next is the Cent option, short for center. When you select this option, TrueGrid will center your mesh within your selected windows. The next is the Rest option, short for reset. When you select this option, TrueGrid returns the mesh within the selected windows to its original position. The last three options in the top row are all related. These options allow you to select either the physical or computational windows or to select both at the same time. This allows you to rotate, zoom, and move the models in the two windows together or independently. With the second row of buttons, titled Picture, you can select the type of graphic used in the physical and/or computational windows. By selecting the wire option followed by the draw option, you display the wire element mesh in the physical window. This also displays all of the wire mesh structure in the computational window as if the faces of the model were transparent. By selecting the Hide option followed by the Draw option, TrueGrid hides the mesh geometry that would not be visible from your angle if the faces were opaque. By selecting the Fill option followed by the Draw option, TrueGrid fills the element mesh with the default opaque color. Lastly, when you select FastGR option, short for Fast Graphics, you engage the use of your graphics card. This increases the speed of the graphic display on your screen. You may not be able to discern the benefit from fast graphics with such a simple single block cube, but you will appreciate it when you are building large complex models. The fast graphics option is a toggle, and when it is engaged, you cannot select the hide option. The third row of options titled Motion control the movement of your mesh in the physical and/or computational windows. For example, I'm going to rotate the model of the block cube we just built by selecting Rotate and then selecting the Both option. Now I place the cursor in the physical window and I depress my mouse's middle button while I move my mouse around. Now to reset my mesh to its original position, I select the Rest option. Note that the block in the computational and the physical windows moved together because I had selected both. Had I selected Phys or Comp options, TrueGrid would have rotated them independently, like this. The Move option allows you to pan around the mesh to focus on areas of interest. The Zoom option allows you to zoom in and out of the mesh. The Frame option allows you to select an area you wish to focus on. Depress your middle mouse button when inside the physical window, and TrueGrid will zoom in on the selected area. You can resize and rearrange the windows on the screen to customize the screen layout that works best for you. The only window that you cannot resize is the environment window.